Before you book that dream trip for 2026, stop. You've saved the money, picked the flights, maybe even packed your bags. But what if I told you 7 countries are shutting doors to tourists right now? We're talking border restrictions, passport bans, and entry rules so strict, getting in could feel impossible. And one of them? A top bucket list destination visited by millions every year. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to save your trip and your money. Stay till the end, because these 7 countries might completely change your travel plans. Country number 7, Bhutan. Let's start with a country that's been quietly gatekeeping itself for decades, Bhutan. Now, Bhutan already had a high-value, low-impact tourism policy. But in 2026, they've cranked it up to another level. The Sustainable Development Fee, which tourists must pay daily just to be in the country, has increased dramatically. We're talking $200 to $250 per person per day, on top of your hotel, flights, and food. And here's what hits me emotionally about this one. Bhutan isn't being greedy. They genuinely don't want to become the next over-touristed nightmare. They watched what happened to Bali, to Venice, to Santorini, and they said, not us. Honestly, part of me respects it, but if you were dreaming of a budget trip through the Himalayas, that dream just got a whole lot more expensive. Who can still go? Anyone, but you need to book through a licensed Bhutanese tour operator and pay the fee up front, no exceptions. Country number 6, Indonesia, Bali. Okay, Bali. The word alone makes people close their eyes and exhale, but in 2026, Bali has introduced a tourist levy, and the Indonesian government isn't playing around about enforcement anymore. Every foreign tourist entering Bali now must pay a dedicated tourism tax, currently around 10 USD, and there are serious talks of limiting the total number of tourists per year. Some estimates say they want to cap it at a level 40% lower than current arrivals. Here's what's really happening underneath this. Bali's rice fields are disappearing. The sacred temples are overwhelmed. Local people feel like they're becoming props in someone else's vacation photo. This isn't just a travel ban. This is a culture trying to survive. So yes, you can still visit Bali in 2026, but go as a guest, not a tourist. Respect the culture, or eventually, you might not be welcome at all. Country number 5, Russia. This one shouldn't surprise you, but the depth of it might. Russia has been essentially closed to Western tourists since 2022, but in 2026, new bilateral travel bans, expanded visa restrictions, and geopolitical pressure have made it nearly impossible for citizens of over 30 countries, including most of Europe, the US, Canada, and Australia, to enter legally. And here's the thing nobody talks about. Even if you could get a visa, travel insurance, most major providers won't cover you. Flight routes? Almost none from the West. Credit cards? Good luck using them. Russia isn't just closing doors, they're bricking up the walls. If you hold a passport from a NATO nation, for practical purposes in 2026, Russia is off the table. Country number 4, Haiti. I wanted to take a moment here because this one isn't funny or frustrating. It's genuinely heartbreaking. Haiti, a country of extraordinary culture, history, and resilience, has had its tourism sector collapse almost entirely. Multiple governments worldwide, including the US, UK, Canada, and the EU, now have do not travel advisories on Haiti. That's the highest level warning. It means we cannot help you if something goes wrong. Gang control over large portions of the country, including the capital Port-au-Prince, has made civilian movement dangerous even for locals, let alone tourists. This one hurts to put on this list, because Haiti deserves tourism dollars. The people there deserve for the world to see their beauty, their art, their food, their spirit. But right now, in 2026, it's simply not safe. And I'd never put views over your safety. Haiti is closed, not by choice, by circumstances the world has largely ignored. Country number 3, North Korea. Alright, this one seems obvious, but here's what you might not know. Before 2020, North Korea actually did allow a small number of tourists, mostly through Chinese tour operators. It was tightly controlled, heavily monitored, but it existed. In 2026, the borders remain completely sealed. No tourists, no journalists, no exceptions. And in a bizarre twist, even the rare diplomatic visitors face extreme limitations. North Korea has essentially become the most isolated country on Earth, by design. The government doesn't want outside eyes, doesn't want outside ideas. If North Korea was on your bucket list, I admire the adventurous spirit, but that bucket might have to stay unchecked for a very, very long time. Country number 2, Myanmar, Burma. This one genuinely breaks my heart. And I don't say that lightly. Myanmar, also known as Burma, was, without any exaggeration, one of the most breathtaking destinations on the entire planet. Travel writers called it the last great undiscovered country of Southeast Asia. Photographers flew halfway around the world just to capture the sunrise over the temples of Bhutan. Thousands of ancient pagodas rising from a golden mist as hot air balloons drifted silently overhead. I'm not describing a fantasy. I'm describing what real travelers experienced as recently as 2019. The people of Myanmar were known for being among the warmest, most genuinely welcoming in all of Asia. Street food that would make you forget every meal you'd ever eaten. Longboat rides through floating markets, monks in saffron robes walking barefoot through ancient streets at dawn. It was magical, truly, deeply magical. And then February 1st, 2021 happened. The military, known as the Tatmadaw, staged a coup. They arrested the democratically elected government. They took Aung San Suu Kyi, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and threw her in prison. And then they turned their guns on their own people. Protesters were shot in the streets. Villages were burned. Journalists were arrested. The internet was shut down. And the world largely looked away. By 2026, Myanmar has descended into a full-scale civil war. Multiple resistance groups are fighting the military across dozens of regions. Large swaths of the country, including areas that were once popular tourist destinations, are now active conflict zones. The military government has restricted movement not just for foreigners, but for its own citizens. Infrastructure has collapsed in many areas. Hospitals are overwhelmed. Millions of people have been displaced from their homes. Multiple governments, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, and most of the European Union, currently have Level 4 Do Not Travel advisories on Myanmar. That's the absolute maximum warning level. It means we cannot guarantee your safety, we cannot evacuate you. If something goes wrong, you are on your own. I've had conversations, real conversations, with people who traveled to Myanmar in 2018 and 2019. And the way their faces change when they talk about it, the way their eyes get distant and soft, it tells you everything. One woman told me, "It was the most beautiful place I've ever seen. And now I can barely watch the news about it because it's too painful." A photographer told me he still has prints from Bhutan on his wall, and some mornings he can't even look at them. Do not visit Myanmar in 2026. I want to be completely clear about this. It is not a travel inconvenience. It is not a bureaucratic headache. It is a genuine, life-threatening danger. And beyond your personal safety, every dollar you spend there has a chance of flowing directly into the hands of a military regime that is committing what human rights organizations are calling crimes against humanity against its own people. Some doors close because of paperwork. Some close because of politics. This one closed because a beautiful country is suffering. And until that changes, we honor its people not by visiting, but by paying attention, by speaking up, and by never forgetting what it was. Country number 1, Israel. I saved this for last because it's the most complex and the most emotionally loaded. Look, Israel itself hasn't issued a blanket tourist ban. But in 2026, the combination of active conflict zones, closed airspace over parts of the region, suspended flights from dozens of airlines, and travel advisories from nearly every major Western government has made tourism to Israel, Gaza, parts of Lebanon, and surrounding areas either impossible or extremely dangerous. Ben Gurion Airport has faced disruptions. Major carriers, including Lufthansa, Delta, and others, have suspended or severely limited routes. This isn't a political statement. I'm not here to take sides on one of the world's most complex conflicts. I'm here to tell you, if you are planning a religious pilgrimage, a cultural trip, or any visit to this region in 2026, you need to check your government's latest travel advisory before you book anything. The situation is fluid. And fluidity in a conflict zone is never good news for travelers. Okay? Take a breath with me for a second. Seriously, I know that was a lot, and I know some of you watching right now had one of those destinations on your list. Maybe you've been planning for months. Maybe you already told someone you were going. Maybe you had a very specific, very personal reason for wanting to go. And if that's you, I want you to know that disappointment is completely valid. Having a dream trip disrupted by things completely outside your control, that hurts. It's not trivial. It's not dramatic to feel that way. But I also want to give you something before you click away. Because here's the truth that travel has taught me over and over again. The world is not closing. A handful of doors are. But the world The world is endlessly, overwhelmingly, jaw-droppingly open. Let me give you some real alternatives that are having their absolute moment in 2026. Georgia, and I mean the country in the Caucasus, not the state, is one of the most underrated destinations on Earth right now. Ancient cave cities, stunning mountain ranges that rival the Alps, wine that has been produced there for literally 8,000 years, making it the birthplace of wine as we know it. And the food, the khinkali, the khachapuri. I will not be taking questions, just go. Albania is having its tourism boom, and most of the world still hasn't caught on. Mediterranean coastline, UNESCO heritage sites, incredibly warm local culture, at prices that will make you feel like you're stealing. Go before everyone else figures it out. Oman is the Middle East destination that doesn't get nearly enough credit. Safe, stunning, with desert landscapes, dramatic fjords, ancient forts, and one of the most genuinely hospitable cultures you will ever experience. And it actively welcomes tourists from almost everywhere. Colombia, yes, Colombia. The transformation this country has gone through over the last 15 years is one of the most remarkable stories in modern travel history. Cartagena, Medellin, the coffee region, the Amazon, it's vibrant, it's colorful, it's alive in a way that very few places on Earth are. For every door that closes, 10 more open. The world isn't done with you, and you're not done with the world. All right, that's everything I've got for you today. If this video helped you, if it saved you from a bad booking, gave you something to think about, or just made you feel a little more informed about the world, please hit the like button. It costs you nothing, and it genuinely helps more people find this content who might need it just as much as you did. And I want to hear from you in the comments. Which country on this list surprised you the most? Were any of these on your 2026 travel plans? And honestly, which alternative am I missing? Because I know my audience travels hard, and I want your recommendations too. If you're not subscribed yet, my next video is going to be the flip side of everything we talked about today. I'm calling it 10 countries you absolutely should visit in 2026 that nobody is talking about. Trust me, you do not want to miss that one. Hit subscribe and the bell so you're the first to know when it drops. Until then, travel smart, travel safe, do your research, and never, ever stop being curious about this world. I'll see you in the next one.